It is your host with the most. If you've never been here before, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and then you will be notified every time a new video is posted here on SOUFLOTV. Okay, so a U.S. tax court has handed a major victory to the estate of Michael Jackson in a years-long battle, finding that the IRS wildly inflated the value at the time of his death of Michael's assets and his image, leading to an estate tax bill for his heirs that was far too high, and we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. Remember when Michael passed away? For those of us who were around at that time, they were saying that he died in debt because he owed so much money to the IRS. Well, that all turns out to be a lie. Man, I'm telling you, the way they did Michael Jackson when he was alive, oh my God, you, Michael, must have been a strong person to have been through all this. But we know what the motive was, and we're going to talk about all that in a moment. So the IRS had put the value of 3 disputed aspects of Michael's worth at the time of his 2009 death at about $482 million. In his decision issued Monday, Judge Mark Holmes put that figure at $111. $482 million versus $111 million. That's a far cry. That $111 million is actually far closer to what the estate's own estimates were. The estate's executor said that it was a huge victory for Michael Jackson's children. We're pleased, his co-executive John Branca told the Associated Press on Tuesday. We always try to do the right thing. We tried from the beginning to follow the IRS rules and regulations, and we relied on the best experts possible. It's unfortunate that we were forced to litigate to protect ourselves. The judge was most disagreed with the IRS's over the value of Michael Jackson's image and his likeness. So while the IRS put it at $161 million, Holmes ruled that it was just $4.15 million. Huge inflation by the IRS. $161 million versus $4.15 million. He noted that despite Michael's acquittal on all counts at his 2005 trial for child molestation, the allegations continued to dog Michael and give him a hard time earning. And while Michael Jackson was actually selling all these tickets to his dates that were planned for his world tour, which was supposed to happen right before he passed, he could not find a sponsor or a merchandise partner because of those false allegations. Many people have come out today to say that they were paid to act as if, and to say that Michael had molested them as children, and this is where this stands today. The fact that he earned not a penny from his image and likeness in 2006, 2007, 2008, and then passed away in 2009 shows the effects those allegations had and continue to have until his very time of death. This is what Holmes wrote in a sprawling 271-page decision that tracks Jackson's fame and finances through most of his life. The tax fight had led to a bill of about $700 million. After an audit of the 2013 taxes on the estate, remember, the estate is now valued at $111 million, right? But the IRS had a tax bill of $700 million on it. So, you know, when you pass away and you leave your estate and you owe the IRS money, the IRS wants its money from the people who you left your estate to. Or they will take the estate, liquidate the assets, and take whatever finances out of that. That is just crazy. So his children were under pressure. His mother was under pressure all this time since his death. The tax fight had led to a bill of about $700 million after the audit of the 2013 taxes on the estate. Those heirs are Michael Jackson's mother and his 3 children. About $200 million of it was a penalty for underpaying. A new tax bill will now be calculated using Holmes' figures, and it will include no penalties. Michael's estate will have no problem paying off the new tax bill calculated using Holmes' figures, because Holmes had told them in the first place and had just now won this ruling on behalf of Michael Jackson's estate. Also in dispute were Jackson's 50% stake in Sony ATV Music Publishing, a catalog that includes 175 Beatles songs. The Beatles were huge. Michael and the Beatles, or Paul McCartney, fell out because he feels like Michael went behind his back and put a bid in on their catalog and beat them, the Beatles, to it. So here is your friend, because they were friends at once. So here's your friend who now owns all your masters to 175 of your songs, right? And that's how Michael positioned himself. And Michael said, it's just business. But he never spoke to Michael Jackson again. And Michael's interest in another catalog that included all the songs that he wrote. The IRS expert had put those assets at a combined total of about $320 million. The judge found that Michael Jackson's death, both combined, were worth only $107 million at the time of his death. Not this $700 million stuff they're talking about. The ruling, awaited for years, resolves one of the few disputes that still hovered over Michael Jackson's estate nearly a dozen years after his unexpected death on June 25th of 2009 after a lethal dose of the anesthetic propofol. Now, another was resolved a week earlier when a judge dismissed a lawsuit brought by choreographer Wade Robson, one of the 2 men that were featured in a 2019 documentary called Leaving Neverland, who alleged that Jackson sexually abused him as a child. The similar lawsuit of James Safechuck, the other man featured in the documentary, was dismissed in October also. The men's attorney called the decisions a dangerous precedent for protecting children and said that they plan to appeal. Now, with years of dispute cleared and a pandemic-forced delay on project lifting, the estate leaders feel like they are in an excellent spot to start promoting Michael Jackson's legacy. They said that we're at an absolute turning point. Branca said, I think that people have come to realize that Michael was actually innocent of all of these charges, and he was actually also unable to protect himself. We've got a wonderful Broadway play coming. We'll be reopening our Circus du Soleil show soon, and we've got some surprises coming. The judge noted that the huge success that the estate has seen since Michael Jackson's death through such shows, a hit concert film, and several strategic decisions to sell assets. However, he said that the IRS appeared. Now, man, you got to understand, they did Michael wicked. Okay, they did this man wicked while he was alive. Poor Michael Jackson. But Michael knew it. He knew it, and I think what they underestimated was Michael's ability to fight beyond the grave, you know, and his ability, like he had people around him that actually genuinely cared about him and loved him, like his mom. Everybody knows that. And she stuck with it and stuck with the attorneys who had been by his side all throughout his life pretty much, and they pulled through for this win. So here we stand. However, she said that the IRS appears to be factoring those successes into its decision rather than considering only the circumstances at the moment of Jackson's death. So there's a little bit more there to fight about when things were considerably more grim after several years of waning popularity, poor management, and reckless spending from Jackson. The judge mocked the estate's initial valuing of Michael Jackson's image and likeness at only $2,000. However, saying that it was putting one of the best known celebrities in the world, the king of pop, at the price of a heavily used 20-year-old Honda Civic. Listen, I hope his estate gets every penny. We already know what this is. I believe it was Griffin, the comedian Griffin, that said, "You will not escape, and no black man will escape." Michael had a tumultuous life as far as his image was concerned, as far as identity was concerned, but he was a stellar performer, and he was definitely one of the best songwriters that we have ever seen. And from that came a whole lot of money, and all he wanted to do was own the rights to all his stuff. Getting into a fight with an entity like Sony, you are going to pay a huge price. Let's name a few people. Prince. Do you see the way Prince passed away? Whitney Houston. Do you see the way Whitney Houston passed away? Michael Jackson. And that's just naming a few. There are others, but we'll leave it right there for now. So to all the Michael Jackson fans who were feeling a bit bummed and a bit down because this man who lived such an exemplary life and such an extraordinary life seemed to be bigger than life itself while he was alive, Michael passed and his name was left dragging through the dirt. Now there can be some kind of a closure and some kind of a clear up, and his children can definitely get to what is rightfully theirs. I don't care if you want to say they're not his kids. That's not my business. What I care about is that his estate gets what it's worth, and his mother and his 3 children are actually the beneficiary of that estate. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. It's SOUFLOTV. I'm out. Peace.